Alrighty guys, I'm Morthadon and we are back for Fairy Tale episode 316. Man, I have like a really bad stomach ache right now. I think it's like me being really hungry, but it's been a weird day. Got into watching a show and I meant to take a nap because I don't sleep well on weekends, because of personal reasons and stuff like that, but basically I barely get any sleep, so I usually take a lot of naps on the weekend. I tried to take a nap and I ended up starting my nap way later than usual, so right now it's like 3 a.m. and I'm just recording this, and then I gotta edit it and everything to get ready for tomorrow. But regardless of all that, you guys don't care that much. But when I woke up, I had like a stomachache kind of thing, so I'm dealing with that. Should be fine though. But anyways, last episode we had the conclusion to the fight with Irene. She ended up taking her own life because she couldn't kill her daughter, and which was pretty awesome. I really like the way they settled that fight, because if Urza, it might have been like, obviously it's fairy tale, so I would have believed if Urza won, you know, just off her own merits. But at the same time, they hyped up how strong Irene is, and it would have been a little weird if like just Urza. Granted, she did have E.N.D doing enchantments and stuff, but if she was just able to beat her, especially in her like broken state, you know, where almost all her bones were broken or felt like they were broken or whatever was the case. But anyways, I really like the way that fight ended, basically. It made a lot of sense, and it made me pretty happy. But now we have August to deal with. We also have the land reverted back to normal, which is pretty cool. So I don't know how they're going to deal with August, unless, because August is, you know, on par or stronger than Irene, possibly, so that's going to be interesting. But yeah, so the what was I going to say? The Universe 1 spell ended when Irene died. Everything's back to normal. Everyone's going to be heading back to the guild hall, I guess. Just normally, like Natsu said at the end of last episode, we're gonna just walk down the street to the guild hall. So, yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens next. Hopefully a fight with August, possibly. But anyways, guys, let's jump into it, shall we? Alrighty, guys, so like usual, down in the description there's going to be a Vimeo link. You guys can click that to get to the reaction. Very simple, one click away should bring you right to the video. If you're on mobile and you have issues, use the app. It works perfectly fine for me. Hopefully whatever operating system your phone's using, it works fine for you guys too. Apologies if it doesn't, but yeah, guys, go ahead and click that link right now. Alrighty, guys, so that is the end of episode 316. That was a good episode, guys. Honestly, it was more than I expected. When the episode first started, and it started with some recap stuff, you know, like, obviously we've had recap stuff in other episodes, but it showed a lot of the Universe 1 spell being undone, and the characters talking, and, you know, for a while. And then, when the episode actually got going with new stuff, it was kind of like wrapping up some of the smaller fights, and stuff like that. So I thought it was going to be more of a transition episode, but honestly, this felt like more of a transition episode. Like, it still kind of was in a way, but we got some really good action with Gildarts, which I didn't expect. When they first showed Gildarts going up against August, I didn't really expect that, but even then, when I first saw it, I was like, okay, they're setting this up for a future episode. You know, we're going to have them, you know, talk a little crap, and then it's going to cut, and then we'll come back to it some other episode, you know. But no, we actually got some good fighting. Obviously, it's not done yet. I'm sure it's going to get way more crazy. I don't even know if Gildarts is going to be the one to take him down or whatnot. You know, I don't know how that's going to work. We don't know how strong Gildarts is now, so, you know, he could do it. Because, you know, he just went off training for a long time and stuff like that. But regardless, it was a pretty good episode. I'm a little sad we didn't... I mean, obviously I understand that the bad guy doesn't... or they don't want to tell us his grand plan yet. So it kind of just thinks that they teased us, though, with Zareth telling Gray about it. and then planned on killing Gray before they got there. But if they save Gray, I just realized this, they're gonna know his end goal. That's gonna be interesting. But I guess before we get into more on that, let's talk about the beginning bits again. We had Mira Jane taking out the Jacob, I believe his name was, and which very fast, very like relatively easy for what we've seen, but we know that Jacob has already beat one, so, if we factor in, like, it seemed fast just because we suddenly saw it this episode and we haven't seen it for, how many episodes we've seen them facing off. But we gotta remember, they were fighting a bit in other episodes. Also, Jacob was beaten before all this, too, in a previous fight with Natsu. So, he was probably already weakened. On top of that, he was fighting with his eyes closed. And then Mira was also weakened because she took out the two little Irene underlings, the swords. She used a lot of power dealing with that. And then she also, got injured and saved by Brandish back when Irene and August showed up and August shot her and stuff. So a lot happened between those two. It makes sense just to kind of wrap up that fight quickly, especially since we have so many like bigger, more crazy fights going on and stuff like that. And then they did the same thing with Agiel, who, I kind of thought, I completely forgot about the Mira Jane fight, but I kind of thought the Agiel one wasn't covered. I talked about it a few times in the past couple episodes. But we got a conclusion to that, I guess. He was almost beaten by Lasana and Elfman, but they ended up kind of, he was kind of trying to get up. He kind of looked beaten. I don't know which one was it, but I don't know if like the grandpa didn't intervene if he would have got up, but regardless, the grandpa intervened. They got on this whole like talk about family, and they somehow, I'm a little like iffy about that plot point. If I'm gonna like take anything away from this episode, it's that I don't really understand. Obviously, if you win all your wars, you're not gonna understand losing. But the way they worded it was that they don't understand that, other people lose something when they win. And that seems kind of weird that, even if I won all the time, I'd still be thinking about what this is doing to other people, and maybe that's just because I'm a good person and they're, evil or whatnot, but it seems like it turned their opinion very quickly. They're like, I don't want to lose any family in this war, and they're like, this is war, you always lose family, and they're like, what, really? Like, I don't know, it seemed a little weird, but regardless, that fight seems over now. They just, ran off into the sunset together, happy-go-lucky. But man, Gildarts showing up to fight August was awesome. I cannot wait to see the rest of that fight. What we saw for that fight was really cool. Gildarts, like, went all out. Like I said earlier, I didn't think we were gonna see that much. Like, I thought Gildarts would do a couple attacks, it wouldn't work, and then we'd cut away. But no, he was, like, going deep. Obviously, none of it really had much of an effect, but, he softened some of his landings with his crush magic, which is really cool. I've always loved the versatility that Gildarts uses his crush magic. Because it's, like, it's such a weird magic, and it doesn't seem like he has many different uses for it, if that makes sense. Like, he does that same, like, he does the same kind of, like, shatter spell where he, like, draws the net, and he can, like, make it so it kills or makes it so it just splits them into little pieces, like that time that it happened in Natsu where it split them into a bunch of little Natsus. But there's no, like, crazy variation with, like, how it looks and everything, so sometimes his fights aren't as impressive on the magic side. It's just mainly his, like, physical strength that he shows that really hypes me up. But on that note, I've always loved his utility of using that, even if he only has, like, a couple uses of his spells, and he might have more. We might see more, But just the fact that he softens the ground underneath him in order to, like, make blows not hit as hard. Kind of like he did that with Natsu one time, where Natsu came in for like a pretty big hit and he broke the ground underneath him to soften the blow. And he kind of did that here, where he got flung, and as he landed, we saw him break the ground and then like go back at him from like underground or through the rubble or whatever he was doing there to go do a hit. But very cool fight. I very much liked it. That was super cool. But then, like, back to what I was talking about in the beginning, we had Gray talking to Zeref, and Zeref apparently telling him a secret that about his plan, about his use for Mavis's unlimited magic power. Apparently it can do something more than just beat Acnologia that he wants to do. That shocked Gray, but we don't know what it is. I don't really have any guesses, honestly. I don't know what it could be, really, but interesting. I'm hoping we get to learn, which if my theory holds true, we will learn, because, you know, we've had Gray threaten to use the ice shell back in Deliora times on that island way back towards the beginning, and Natsu talked him out of it, and then he tried to use it again. No, maybe not. I don't know. I think he might have tried to use it again at a scene with his dad in the Tartaros arc, but I don't think he actually did. I think he used it as a feint. I don't think he was actually going to use it at that point, so I don't think that counts. I feel like there might have been another time where he threatened to use it and Natsu stopped, because I felt like this has happened, like, a lot. That he started using it and Natsu stopped him, but I have a feeling Natsu's on his way there, so I have a feeling Natsu's gonna get there and jump in front of it again and stop him, like usual, and maybe they'll tag team to fight Zeref, maybe, but Gray will have known his plan, so that'll be interesting how that plays out. Either Zeref will have to do something to stop Gray, or Gray will just get a chance to tell them the secret, you know, and we'll learn that in, you know, however long that takes. But on that note, we also, I guess, the other reason that I don't think it'll go through the ice shell is because I can't imagine Zeref going out that easy. Like, obviously, Gray being a badass, sacrificing his life would be, like, a pretty intense way for him to go out, for like that to end, but I also feel like it's not like Fairy Tail. I feel like we're gonna have something way more epic for Zeref's, you know, final encounter. And also, it has to involve Mavis's plan, because they teased Mavis's plan for so long now, and we haven't, like, come to fruition of that I feel like that has to happen. And, yeah, I mean, I just feel like this can't happen this way, but, yeah. And I think that pretty much sums up most of the episode. I mean, you know, like, it was a great episode, but I felt like not a lot happened that sparked, you know, huge discussion. My biggest things are just, how is anybody gonna beat August? And then I can't wait to see, you know, the final fights between Zeref and, you know, whenever we have the Acnologia encounter, because I feel like we have to finish that up this season, and stuff like that. I can't wait to see Mavis's plan, all that. So, yeah, guys, I think that pretty much sums up everything I gotta discuss about this episode. Yeah. So, if you guys enjoyed this episode, please hit that subscribe button. You can also click the link to my Patreon in the description. You can get access to early access. You can see episodes ahead of time on Patreon before they release on YouTube, as well as full length, so you can get access to the entire episode. All you have to do is sync your own footage with the timer that I set up, and you can watch the whole episode with me without any kind of, you know, cuts or anything like that. So, if you want to support the channel that way too, it's very much appreciated. And yeah, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this reaction, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.